The lights were too bright. Vela blinked against them, her thin wrists bound with rough metal chains. Her ankles scraped across the dirty stone floor as two guards dragged her forward. The crowd roared from the shadows beyond the stage, shouting. Numbers, laughing, throwing food. She had been here before. Sold once, then used, then thrown away, and now sold again. Vela was no longer a warrior, no longer a daughter of a noble house. She was only skin and bone now, wrapped in rags, with bruises that never healed. Her ex-lover Tarkin stood proudly to the side of the auction stage, arms crossed, his tail flicking behind him like a whip. He wore polished boots, shiny armor, and a smirk that made her stomach twist. She's not much to look at now, Tarkin announced to the crowd, but she's strong. Used to be a soldier in the Kruan Wars. High pain tolerance. Knows 10 languages. Might even remember some codes. If you shake her right. The crowd laughed. One bidder shouted, "Does she scream loud?" "Only when you want her to," Tarkin said with a wink. Vela shut her eyes. She felt the old shame rise again like poison. She wanted to scream, to run, to disappear. But she knew better. The stun collars were real. She'd seen others fall. Twitching on this very stage, the auction master, a fat slug-like alien with blinking goggles, slid forward on a rail. Opening bid, 1,000 credits, 1,500. Came a voice from the back, 18, 2,000. The prices jumped fast. Vela's stomach turned. She knew what kind of buyers came to Gravos 9, criminals, smugglers, gamblers looking for entertainment. She opened her eyes and scanned the crowd, not out of hope, but curiosity. She wanted to see what kind of monster would own her. Next, then something strange. A man stood still at the back. He wasn't shouting. He wasn't laughing. He wasn't even smiling. A human, tall, wearing a worn-out gray coat, dusty boots, and a tool belt. He looked more like a repairman than a buyer. His face was tired, and his eyes, those blue eyes, didn't scan her like a product. They looked at her like she was real. 3,000, the human said quietly. The crowd paused. Laughter broke out a second later. A human? Someone howled. What's he going to do? Fix her legs? Maybe he wants someone to cook for his rusty ship. Even Tarkin chuckled. All right, hero. 3,000 from the human. But the auction master didn't laugh. Do you have payment? The human nodded and held up a small cube. Verified. Real credits. No other bids? The auctioneer asked. Silence. Going once, twice sold. To the human. Tarkin stepped forward and handed the chain leash to him. Careful, he said mockingly. She bites. The human didn't take the leash. He looked at the chain. For a moment, then pulled a small device from his coat, a cutter. He pressed a button and the cuff snapped open with a spark. Vela stumbled, shocked. No one had ever done that. She waited for the slap, for the electric shock, for the scream. Nothing came. Instead, the human took off his coat and draped it over her shoulders. You're cold, he said gently. Come on. Let's get out of here. The guards didn't stop him. He had bought her fair and legal as they left the auction. Ring, Vela whispered. Why? He didn't look at her. Because no one else did. They walked down the metal ramp toward the ship bay. Her legs were shaking. Her body said it was fear. But her heart felt something else. She had no idea who this man was. He could be worse than the others. Maybe this was just a new kind of trick, but when she saw his ship, old, patched, small, and how he walked without swagger or pride, she felt something strange. Hoped that he helped her inside without touching her. Name's Cole, he said. Ship's name is Everlight. You can sit wherever. I'll get food. Vela sat near the back, still holding the coat around her thin frame. The ship hummed gently. The air smelled clean. Not like a cage, not like fear. He brought her water. Real water. She drank it slowly, watching him. Are you going to use me? She asked, voice low. He paused. Then he shook his head. No, I'm just giving you a ride. To where? Someplace safe. Vela didn't believe him. Not yet, but as the engines warmed and the ship lifted from Gravos 9's filthy surface, she looked at the stars through the window and whispered to herself, maybe this time is different. Vela didn't sleep at first. She sat in the corner of the small room Cole had shown her. It wasn't a prison cell. It had a soft bed, a clean blanket, and even a pillow, something she hadn't felt in years. But her back stayed against the wall, knees pulled to her chest, eyes fixed on the door. The door didn't lock. And that scared her more. Her mind whispered old warnings. He's waiting until you drop your guard. Then he'll hurt you like the others did. But hours passed. No one came. Outside the room, the ship hummed softly as it flew through the stars. Safe for now. The next morning, or what counted as morning in space, the door slid open. With a soft hiss, Vela jumped, heart pounding. But it was just Cole. Again, no weapon. No leash, just him. Holding a steaming cup. Hydration broth, he said, placing it on a small table. Helps with weakness. He didn't stare, didn't ask questions. Just nodded once and turned to leave. Wait, Vela said. He stopped. 1 foot out the door. Why are you doing this? Cole looked over his shoulder, quiet for a moment. Because I've seen what happens when no one helps, he said. And I swore I'd never let that happen again. Then he walked out. Vela drank the broth slowly. It was warm. Her stomach, used to dry crumbs and bitter slop, almost didn't know what to do with real food. Her hands trembled the whole time. Later, she explored the ship. It wasn't big. 4 rooms, 1 hallway, and a cockpit. Everything was old but cared for. Wires neatly tied, metal patched with skill. Cole wasn't rich, but he was clever. Human cleverness, that kind that didn't need gold. Only grit. She stepped into the cockpit quietly. Cole sat in the pilot's seat, flipping through screens. A soft alarm blinked red on one of them. Problem? She asked, arms crossed tightly. He turned, surprised. Didn't hear you come in. Should I go? No, he said. Stay. She sat beside him, unsure. The stars stretched like silver dust outside the glass. Cole tapped a panel. Looks like we've got a shadow. Small ship. Keeping distance. Vela tensed. One of Tarkin's? Could be. Or someone he told. She closed her eyes. They want the tech inside me, the nanits. Cole didn't answer. She looked at him. You knew, didn't you? He nodded slowly. Your blood glowed under the scanner. Old Earth tech, military, top secret. Stuff we buried after the collapse. Vela's voice shook. I didn't choose this. He forced them into me. No, you should have left me there. I'm dangerous. Cole stared at the stars. No, they are, not you. That night, she heard something in the hallway. Not footsteps, crying. Soft, quiet, broken. She peeked through the gap in the door. It was him. Cole sat on the floor outside the engine bay, face buried in his hands. A small hollow photo lay beside him, a woman with short hair, laughing. A baby held close to her chest. The image flickered, static from time damage. Vela didn't move. Didn't speak, but something in her chest shifted. He had his own pain. And yet he still helped her. The next morning, she left her room and walked to the storage locker. She found a clean shirt, fixed her tangled hair, and tried to look like someone. Not broken. She walked into the cockpit and stood tall. I want to help, she said. Cole raised an eyebrow. Help? I'm not cargo. I'm not a victim. Let me earn my space. He smiled a little. All right, you ever operate a pulse stabilizer? She blinked. I used to rewire battlefield drones. Close enough? Cole tossed her a toolkit. Then suit up. For the next 3 hours they worked in silence. Handing tools, fixing systems, running scans. She watched how he worked, quiet. Focused, steady hands. He watched how she handled wires like they were puzzles. A strange peace filled the ship. Like two ghosts finally breathing again. But it didn't last. A new alarm blinked. Cole froze. His face went pale. What is it? Vela asked, her voice sharp. He turned the screen toward her. Incoming transmission. You took my property. I'm coming to take her back. To Vela's breath caught. Tzrk on. We have to run. She whispered. Cole didn't answer. He opened a drawer and pulled out a hidden case. Inside was an old Earth military weapon. A magnetic pulse rifle. Running won't work, he said. Not this time. He looked at her. You said you weren't a victim. Good. He handed her a stun blade. Then we fight. The sky outside the ship turned red. Not real sky. Just the warning hue on Cole's monitors. 3 ships. Heavy engine signatures. Armed. They weren't bluffing. Vela stared at the screen, her throat dry. Her body remembered the beatings. The cold floors. The chains. She whispered. He's really coming. Cole nodded, loading energy cells into the old pulse rifle. Tarkin always liked to finish things himself. But how did he track us so fast? Cole's jaw tightened. He tapped the console. There was a hidden beacon in your collar. It activated after we left orbit. Took me too long to find it. Vela felt sick. She touched her neck, remembering the collar's weight. It was gone, but the damage wasn't. I brought them here, she said. No, Cole said firmly. He brought this fight, not you. She looked at him. You still have a chance to leave me somewhere, an escape pod. Or drop me on a trade rock. I'm not doing that. Why? Cole met her eyes. Because I made a promise to myself. Years ago, if I ever saw cruelty like that again, I wouldn't look away. The engines roared as Cole veered the ship into a shadowed asteroid field. It wasn't much cover, but enough for a plan. Vela, he said. What else do you know about Tarkin's ships? She closed her eyes, digging through the haze of fear. One of them, the yellow one, it uses an exposed plasma core. Fast but hot. If it overheats, it explodes, Cole finished. Exactly. A slow smile touched his lips. We can use that. They got to work. Vela rerouted the sensor array, sending false pings to confuse scanners. Cole adjusted the coolant system, preparing a heat pulse that would trick the yellow ship into chasing too close. They had maybe 5 minutes. Left. As they worked, Vela looked at Cole's arm, the tattoo there, half burned. What is that? She asked softly. He hesitated, then said, it was a unit mark. I used to be in Earth's vanguard, long ago. What happened? Cole paused. We were sent to stop a massacre on a border planet. But the people in charge, they didn't want survivors. We were ordered to pull out. He clenched a wrench hard in his hand. I didn't. You stayed? I stayed. For 3 days. Me and 3 others. We hid civilians, fought until evac came. But the damage, I never forgot. Vela looked at him, truly saw him now, not just a kind man, but a haunted one. You lost people. I lost my wife. And my daughter. Her breath caught. That photo. He nodded. That's why I can't walk away from you. The enemy ships entered visual range. The first one, silver and spiked, shot a warning burst past them. Cole flipped a switch. The Everlight dove into the asteroid belt, the rocks surrounding them like ancient giants. The yellow ship followed. Fast and reckless. Now! Vela shouted. Cole pushed the button. Heat surged from the engines, tricking the enemy sensors. The yellow ship thought Everlight was overheating. So it moved in for the kill, but it moved in too close. A hidden asteroid, small and spinning fast, slammed into its side, right near the exposed plasma vent. a flash of white. Then dash boom. The explosion rocked space like thunder. One ship down. Veila. Gripped the console wide-eyed. You really did it. Cole didn't smile. Still two left. Then came the voice. A deep, oily voice crackled through the ship's comms. Vela, Tarkin said, slow and cruel. You're making this more fun than I expected. She froze. I told you no one would care, he continued. But you found someone, a pet human. How adorable. Cole muted the transmission. He likes playing with words, he said. He's nervous. He never gets nervous, Vela replied, her voice trembling. And maybe this time he should. Suddenly, the ship shook. A direct hit. Cole checked the screens. They're disabling us. Not destroying. They want you alive. Vela looked at her hands, shaking, scared. She didn't want to be taken again. She didn't want that darkness. I won't go back, she whispered. You won't, Cole said. But I need you to trust me. Can you? She nodded, but her heart was racing. I'm going to pretend to surrender, Cole said. When they board, you'll have 30 seconds. I'll draw them away. You take the vent crawl space and hit the cargo bay's override. Lock them in, Vela blinked. That's suicide. No, he said. It's teamwork. They sent the fake distress signal, power down. Shields offline, the enemy ship approached. A boarding bridge locked into place. Veila and Cole shared a look. Ready? He asked. No, she whispered, but I'll do it anyway. He smiled. That's the spirit. Asterisk metal hissed. The boarding ramp locked into place with a sharp clang. Vela vanished into the crawl space just in time, crawling fast through tight ducts that smelled of oil and copper. Every bump, every whisper outside made her hold her breath. She gripped the stun baton tighter in her hand. Above her, enemy boots thudded onto the ship's floor. 5, 6, maybe more. Cole stood tall in the hallway, unarmed, hands raised. From the smoke walked a creature in dark red armor, helmet glowing faintly, Tarkin's personal enforcer. The rest spread out behind him, sleek rifles ready. Where's the girl? The armored one asked. Cole shrugged. She's in the engine room, sleeping. Two soldiers marched toward the back, weapons drawn. But then Cole said calmly, Too bad you'll never reach her. The lights shut off, instant blackout. Before the invaders could react, Cole kicked a hidden plate open and grabbed his pulse rifle from the wall. He fired. The first shot slammed into the nearest soldier's chest, tossing him like a ragdoll. Sparks flew. Chaos out the hallway erupted in shouts and blasts. Cole ducked into a maintenance shaft, sealed the door, and activated the pre-rigged electrogrid. The floor beneath the enemies pulsed blue, and one of them screamed as his armor lit up with arcs of electric fire. 2 down. Find him, barked the lead enforcer. Find the human. Meanwhile, Vela crawled fast, counting every bolt and pipe she passed. She reached the cargo bay duct, unscrewed the hatch, and dropped down. Silently. The override switch was on the far wall, behind crates. She ran low, boots silent. Just as she reached it, her foot hit something. A motion trip wire. Too late. A flash. The crate beside her exploded. She flew back with a cry, hitting the ground hard. Her arm burned. A gash opened across her forearm. Footsteps approached fast. Her vision swam, but she rolled behind a steel crate. She couldn't run. She couldn't hide, but she could fight. Cole heard the blast from above. He gritted his teeth. Cargo bay. He activated comms. Vela, are you there? Static, then her voice shaky. I'm still here. I'm trying to reach the lock system. Cole breathed out. You're not alone, Vela. Just hold on. I'm coming. He charged through the service tunnel and dropped into the bay's top level, through a side hatch. Below, he saw her. Wounded, but still crawling toward the override panel. blood dripping, and behind her, a soldier raised his weapon. Cole didn't think. He jumped out. The impact was brutal. He landed on the soldier with full force, knocking the alien's weapon. Flying, they struggled on the floor. Cole elbowed the enemy, then jabbed a tool into the soldier's mask. It cracked open, hissing. The alien choked and went still. Vela looked up. "You came." "Of course I did." He pulled her up gently. "Can you still move?" She nodded weakly. Together, they reached the panel. She entered the code. A loud metallic clank echoed. The boarding bridge sealed shut. Enemy reinforcements outside were locked out. Inside, only a few remained. Back in the hallway, the red-armored enforcer realized too late that his team was cut off. He turned to another. "Soldier, blow the cargo bay door. Kill them both." But before he could press the charge, the wall behind him exploded. Cole had triggered the ship's engine coolant pipe. Scalding mist blasted out, white-hot and blinding. The enforcer screamed. Falling back, Vela stumbled into view, blade in hand. Her eyes weren't afraid anymore. "You don't own me," she whispered. She stabbed the stun blade into his chest plate and held it down. Sparks shot out. The armor cracked. The enforcer dropped, motionless. Silenced. Smoke filled the halls. Cole leaned against the wall, panting. They had done it. Together. But the victory was short. A message blinked on Cole's monitor. "Incoming warp signature flagship, the Burning Talon Commander, Tarkin himself. ETA, 7 minutes." Vela read it over his shoulder. "Tarkin. He's coming here," she said, voice low. "He's angry," Cole replied. "He's not going to send soldiers this time. He's coming for us." Vela touched her bleeding arm, winced. "We can't fight a flagship." Cole stared at the screen. His face didn't show fear. "No," he said. "But maybe we don't need to fight. Maybe we just need to outsmart him." Tarkin's warship, the Burning Talon, blocked the stars like a predator. Its shadow swallowed Cole's tiny vessel whole. No escape route, no tricks left. The ship rumbled under the weight of its presence. Vela stood near the window, arms crossed over the bandages Cole had wrapped around her. Her skin still stung. Her heart beat like a war drum. Cole placed a black case on the table, long metal, sealed with a palm lock. Vela frowned. "What's that?" He didn't answer at first. He just placed his hand on it, and it clicked. Open. Inside was an old relic, a worn-out command badge, burned on the edges, and a tiny black cube, a banned tech cube. Vela took a step back. "Is that Earth Command override tech?" Cole nodded. "I built it before the collapse. Illegal now. It can take over a ship's AI. If I'm close enough, I swore I'd never use it again." She swallowed. "Why now?" "Because Tarkin isn't just coming for you anymore. He's coming for us." The Burning Talon sent its docking spike. The long metal bridge slammed into Everlight's hull like a fist. Cole looked at her one last time. "He wants you to feel weak again." "You don't have to let him." Vela nodded. "I won't." The door opened slowly. Tarkin walked in first, tall, armored, his cruel smile cutting through the tension like a blade. Behind him, 4 elite guards. He looked around the damaged ship and chuckled. "I see you've redecorated." Cole stepped forward calmly, hands visible. "No weapons," Tarkin ordered. Cole raised his arms. "None." Vela stood behind him, face blank. Tarkin turned to her. "You ran far, but you never really left me, did you?" Vela didn't answer. Tarkin walked closer, one clawed hand brushing her chin. She didn't move. "You were mine," he said. "You still are." He turned to Cole. "Do you know what it's like to own something so rare? To break something perfect and still have it beg for your hand?" Cole's face was like stone. "Do you know what it's like to lose something perfect and never stop carrying the pieces?" Tarkin tilted his head. "Philosophy from a mechanic?" Cole reached for his coat pocket. Tarkin's guards raised weapons fast. "Easy," Cole said, pulling out a small remote. He held it between two fingers. "It's not a weapon, not exactly." Vela took a breath. She recognized it. "The override device. What's that?" Tarkin growled. Cole didn't blink. "Something Earth banned long ago. It links to command cores." Tarkin snorted. "Your little toy can't touch my ship." Cole pressed a button. The Everlight screen lit up, and so did Tarkin's comlink. "Link confirmed. Secondary AI channel engaged. Command path, the Burning Talon, open." Tarkin's smile vanished. He turned to his guards. "Shut it down. Block the signal." But it was too late. Cole stepped forward, eyes locked on the screen. "Set override. Disable shields. Disable engines. Begin oxygen scrub in 60 seconds, Vela gasped. "You're going to suffocate them." "No," Cole said. "Just long. Enough to stop them." Tarkin lunged. Faster than Vela had ever seen him. He knocked the remote from Cole's hand, grabbed him by the neck, and slammed him into the wall. "You think I didn't plan for this?" Tarkin hissed. "You think I didn't learn from your kind's dirty tricks?" Cole gasped, feet off the floor. Vela screamed, "Let him go." Tarkin ignored her. "You belong to me," he snarled. "Say it." Vela stepped forward slowly. Her hand slid down to her side, where she had hidden her own device, the backup Cole had given her before the docking. Tarkin didn't notice. He squeezed harder. Cole's face turned red. "Say it." Tarkin shouted. Vela's voice was soft, but sharp like broken glass. "No." Tarkin turned slightly, surprised. "I don't belong to you," she said louder. "I never did." Then she pressed the button. Second signal lit the air, and Cole's override command restarted, double-powered. The warship outside flickered. Shields dropped. Lights dimmed. Oxygen systems began auto-purging. On Cole's screen, critical, command lock in place. All crew, unconscious in 42 seconds. Tarkin froze. Vela stepped closer. "You broke me once. But this time, I broke you." She raised her stun blade and slammed it against his armored back. He roared, fell to one knee. Cole gasped for air as Tarkin dropped him. Vela helped him stand. The guards, panicked, ran back toward the docking bridge. "Seal it." Cole shouted. She punched the button. The bridge folded back, snapping like jaws. Tarkin's flagship was now disabled, blind, and locked from escape. Tarkin groaned on the floor, smoke rising from his armor. Cole looked down at him. "You don't own her," Cole said coldly. "You never did. Warning. Enemy flagship destabilizing. Power core leak. Estimated explosion in 5 minutes 52 seconds. The voice of the AI echoed coldly through the ship. Cole's hand trembled as he grabbed the console. "We don't have time. Their core's going critical. It'll take this whole sector if it blows." Vela stood beside him, blood on her arm, her eyes locked on the blinking warning. Smoke still rose from Tarkin's stunned body. "Can we outrun it?" she asked. Cole shook his head. "Not unless I restart the FTL drive manually. It fried in the last blast." She looked down at Tarkin, unconscious but still alive. "Then, we don't run. We finish what he started." Cole looked at her sharply. "What do you mean?" Vela stepped over to Tarkin and tore off a metal panel from his shoulder plate. Inside was a glowing chip, high-level access to his warship systems. "I'm going to trigger a remote jump," she said. "Redirect his ship. Make it leap into empty space." Cole blinked. "That'll save us, but the process needs 2 sensed biosigns to unlock the drive." "It was built that way to stop theft." Vela stared at him. "Then we tricked the ship, your body signature, my nanits. Combined, it might work." Cole hesitated. "If it doesn't, then we both go with it," she said. "But at least, it's our choice." They worked fast. Vela's hands moved through Tarkan's personal data pad, hacking access lines with speed that surprised even her. Cole rerouted power from Everlight to the docking bridge. The cable sparked, but held. A final warning echoed. Core breach in 4 minutes. Vela uploaded the override program. Cole, she said quietly. If I don't make it, he stopped her. You will. We both will. Their fingers touched the final activation pad. A blue light shimmered, then access granted. Warp sequence initiated. Outside, the burning Talon rumbled, engines lit up. But not toward Cole's ship. Instead. Its jump drive reoriented toward Sector OX, a dead zone with no stars, no gravity, no return. Target, null space, the AI confirmed. Warp in 90 seconds. Vela sagged with relief. We did it. But then, her console pinged. Unauthorized scan detected, bounty signal active. New bid posted, 7.8 million credits. Target, Vela species, modified. Cole leaned over. What is that? Vela's hands shook. Someone just put a bounty on me, a big one. Why? She looked at him, her voice hollow. The nanotech inside me, it's not just stolen, it's rare, Earth-designed. I thought it was just military enhancement tech. Cole's face went pale. No, that symbol, he pointed at the code spinning on screen. That's Earth Project Genesis. They weren't building weapons, they were building templates. For new species. Vela whispered. I'm not just a survivor. I'm proof. Of Earth's attempt to rewrite alien life. Cole stepped back. That's why Tarkin kept you, not for torture, for control. She looked sick. And now others know. Which means everyone will come for you. The countdown reached 30 seconds. Cole shouted, Vela, get back to the ship now. She ran. Behind her, the lights of the burning Talon pulsed wildly. Its damaged systems screamed. Deep within the hull, fires spread. They dove through the airlock just as the last bolt retracted. Engines hot, Cole barked. Hold on. The Everlight blasted off just as the enemy warship jumped and vanished into the black. A second later, the space around where it had been shuttered, and the jump drive collapsed inward, a silent implosion. Then nothing. They were alone. Alive. Inside. The cockpit, silence. Cole leaned back, sweat dripping. You did it, he said. You're free. Vela didn't smile. I'm not, she said softly. Not really. Now that they know what I am, there will be more. Cole turned to her. You're not just tech. You're not a project. You're you. She looked at him, broken but bold. What if someone offers 10 million next time? Then I'll raise my price, he said with a smirk. And still keep you safe. She laughed once. It was tired, but real. That night, Vela sat alone in the engine bay. She looked at her arm, where the nanotech glowed faintly under the skin. Built to become something else, she whispered. But I never got to choose. Cole appeared. Behind her, a blanket in one hand. You still can, he said. She looked up. Choose? Yes, choose who you want to be. She took the blanket, wrapped it around herself, then looked him in the eye. I want to be someone who stops running. 14 hours later, the stars grew crowded. Cole stood at the Everlight's front window, watching a dozen ships appear on long-range scanners, sleek bounty vessels, all shapes and sizes. Some looked like sharks. Others were silent, cube-like. Things with blinking red eyes. They're not waiting to negotiate, he muttered. Beside him, Vela adjusted the brace on her injured arm. Her other hand gripped the stun blade, now modified with energy capacitors. Her eyes weren't scared anymore. She was done running. The Everlight had no weapon strong enough to stop them. No backup, no army. Just two souls with nothing left to lose and everything to protect. But Cole had a plan. He always did. We lure them, he explained. Draw the fleet into the debris field behind Yarek's moon. It's thick with old satellite junk and mining wrecks. And then what? Vela asked. He turned slowly. Then, you do what they never expected. You broadcast? Broadcast? Vela looked confused, but Cole pulled out an old transmitter. This connects to the Syndicate's galactic feed. They want you as a weapon. But what if you speak first, before they control the story? He pointed at her heart. Let them see you. Let them hear you. Show them you're not a thing do. Sell. She stared at the device, then back at him. You think that will stop a fleet? I think truth spreads faster than money, and it burns hotter than fear. They entered the debris field. The ships followed, hungry, scanning. Ready to strike, one hailed. Surrender the asset. Final warning. Vela took a breath. She stepped in front of the console and pressed transmit. Her voice echoed. Across space. This is Vela, the one you're hunting. I was tortured, sold, branded, treated like property, but I am not yours. She paused. I carry human tech, yes, but I carry my will too. You don't own that. You never will. A silence followed. Across half the fleet, screens flickered. Some pilots hesitated. A few even lowered weapons, unsure. Then a new ship dropped from hyperspace. Big, dark gold trim on its wings. Not a hunter. A collector. It was the final bidder. The one who paid the most. A smooth voice came through. You are valuable. Vela, you will join my private vault. Alive, whole, unspoiled. Vela's stomach turned. No, she said. The voice laughed. You think this little rebel and his rust bucket can stop me? That's when Cole grinned. I'm counting on you not noticing what we flew you into. The collector paused. What? Boom! A satellite mine exploded. Then another. Cole had seeded the field with chain reaction charges while flying. Now the entire debris field lit up like a storm. Ships spun. Metal tore. Sensors fried. The collector's ship shields blinked. Now Vela. Cole shouted. She hit the final switch. The power they had taken from the burning Talon, raw, unstable warp energy, surged into a modified coil under their hull. A focused EMP burst shot out. Across the battlefield, ships went dark, one by one. They floated dead in the black. Even the collector's engines shut down. The only ship still running was the ever-light Veila stood tall. They wanted a prize, she said. They got a warning. Later, on a private frequency, Cole broadcasted the data files from Tarkin's personal ship. Proof of the torture, the illegal trades, the bounty networks. Within hours, governments, rebel outposts, even bounty guilds began fighting over the fallout. Veila was no longer prey. She was evidence, and a symbol. In the quiet that followed, Cole set the ship on autopilot and joined her on the outer deck. Stars passed like falling snow. I thought I'd die today, she said softly. You almost did, he replied. She smiled weakly. But I lived. More than that, he said. You won. She turned to him, eyes softer now. I have no home to return to, she whispered. No people. No planet. You don't need to go back, Cole said. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a small key. Simple, unmarked. This is yours now. The ship, the freedom, the future. She stared at the key. I don't want a ship, she said slowly. He blinked. Then what do you want? She leaned closer. I want you, if you'll have me. He smiled. No chains, he said. She nodded. No masters. He offered his hand. Then let's build something new. And in the dark silence of space, two survivors lit a new path, not by war or power, but by choosing to stand together.